Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video slash episode on this YouTube channel slash podcast. Thank you for joining me once again. Thank you for all the lovely ladies running up my last trauma dump story time. If you haven't checked that out after this video, you should. But this video low-key like a part 2 in podcast form. So I remember a lot of my content is inspired by stuff I see, and this one video put into words something I've been thinking when I was in relationships, but especially out, because of the views that you have when you got those rose tinted glasses off and you're not so like, thinking about the benefit of the doubt of everybody. Is this one girl literally opened a TikTok where she said, "Stop psychoanalyzing that man." And I said, oh. And if you don't understand what she means, I feel like it's this thing that we always talk about how women should be. Well, women are like the mothers, so they are naturally nurturing and they naturally consider everything and want to think about everything, not just like what they're shown, and learn about you and stuff like that. And that's great. I love having that quality and being a, aware, open-minded girl who looks beyond the surface, because let's be honest, like, that's real about how you analyze everyone. But when it comes to analyzing these men, yes, people have different sides. People's actions don't match with their words. But in relationships, I feel like us girls, we psychoanalyze these men to, and when they're not given the same thing back. And I think like this is a quality a lot of women have, but it could also just be a people issue. There's some people who put more thought and care into people and relationships than others. We got the different attachment styles, stuff like that, but so on. If you guys watch my story times or just watch my content, a lot of people think I'm so funny, so Scorpio, how mean and discreet and like cutthroat I am. And I think I could be a lot meaner about how I talk about my past relationships, because one thing about me, baby, especially as a Scorpio, is when I'm done and I know there's no going back, that's when I stop psychoanalyzing. And I think that's a good quality. So it's like when I'm in relationships with these men, I consider their trauma. I consider their other relationships. I consider their family drama, this, and that, and their roles in society and stuff like that. I'm always considering, oh, well, this is why people act like this, or this is why they could feel stress and blah, blah, blah. I'm always so super duper considerate, because I think I made a video on this too, where I think like consideration is how I would describe love, when you're considering someone all the time. How what you say will make them feel, how what you do would make them feel. You're considering, like I said, you have enough consideration and love to give to think beyond what you just see on the surface. And I think that's great, but it's great for someone who does it back. Not for someone, play consideration for Rihanna, not someone who you have all this consideration and patience and hearing them out and thinking about everything for them. But for you, they treat you like, oh, no, it's just the surface, or you don't get it, da da da. And I feel like I found myself, and I feel like a lot of other people can relate, in that imbalance in relationships a ton. So I realized that, especially about my last relationship, about the last man I just talked about, the last Valentine's Day I had, where I really feel like I upped, like, I get meaner and more cutthroat after every relationship towards people who deserve it. No, I'm not moving like that man that says, oh, a girl cheated on me in middle school and that's why I can't trust nobody. No, to people who deserve it. But no, because I really sat back. Like, I feel like the last person I dated was the quickest, the closest I've ever gotten to someone so quick, who trauma dumped on me so hard, who expected all that love and consideration when they were not an honest person and they did not have the patience to give that back to me. And so even for a little bit after the breakup, like, I just took on so much in that relationship, like, because that was also someone, and maybe this is a manipulation tactic, I don't know. Like I said, I think this is the first time I've been with someone who's been so honest and open about their trauma up front. That they would honestly like bring it up too. Like, I wouldn't even have to just psychoanalyze it on my own. Like, I act like this because of this, and I have this, and I was never stable, and I didn't feel safe, and this, and this. And so, like, those things, yeah, would make sense. Like, okay, trauma that you've been through, you know, not feeling safe, like all those, the things people have been through, especially in their upbringing, in their developmental years, it all makes sense why people like that have different attachment styles, why they have, you know, different reactions to things or lack thereof reactions, you know? I read books. I read books like even to help myself as someone who's been a victim of SA and stuff. Like I've learned so much about how like, oh wow. So that's why I'm so different in these years, you know? All those things make sense scientifically and psychologically. But people like that, people like my ex try to use it as like, well, this is the excuse of why I'm this way and this is that. No. No, nigga. No. No. You're not 10 or a toddler that, you know, physically doesn't have, you know, hasn't learned emotional regulation and all these things. When you're a fully functioning adult who also is aware of your problems, like a lot of kids and stuff, not saying that every bad choice that kids make is valid, but you have a lot more awareness as an adult, you know? And like, yeah, I think a lot of people try to use that as like a, well, this is the explanation and this is just that, when it's not just that. You have to do a lot more work. And like I said, I'm not just speaking as a bitch who's never been through anything. If you guys watch my videos, you know a lot of my content till this day, even though I'm almost 3 years free from being with an abusive partner, is that I've had to do the work and I've seen the differences in myself. Like in myself from reading books that my therapist recommended, going to therapy, just taking time off to really sit with my emotions and not run from them as someone who had a very delayed response to sexual abuse. Like, I've seen the difference. Like, I can't imagine myself, when I even started this channel, I've had this channel for 2 years now. When I started this channel, how anxious and like, I feel like just like explosive and on edge I always used to be. And I was single for almost 2 years after being like in an abusive relationship. I can't imagine being with someone and them having to deal with that. Like them having to deal with all that when like they didn't touch me, they didn't assault me. Like, you know, there's some things where like people you love can come for you and do your best. But to me, that would not look good as someone having to see me go through all that and just not be my best self, even though like we're never our best self. Like I'm gonna have this trauma forever and in the next relationship, but it's like, it's so different, you know? But some people think that that is okay. Well, like, I've been through all this and that, so just deal with it. Like, this is just what it is. And that's very much how a couple of my exes have been. And it's like, And like I said, even though this is a people issue, I think, yeah, a lot of me as a straight woman who dates men, it's like, that's what's expected of us. To like, women are supposed to be so understanding, so patient, so kind. So it's like they think that is the standard, that they can just come with all this shit. And like, it's shocking. Like when I have gotten older and I feel like step deeper into like the person and the woman I am, and I set boundaries and I don't go for certain things, or I will cut people off for certain things, it's so shocking to these men. Like I told you guys, I love humbling men. Like it is one of my favorite hobbies. So like a man who's like, oh, a girl has never just blocked me on anything. Well, Alicia did. A girl has never cut me off for this. Like Alicia did. And it's not even like in the sense of to humble them, but I'm just humbling them in the process of using my boundaries. Because anytime I have done a man like that, they lose their mind. Like the man I just talked about. In my YouTube comments watching my every YouTube video, making different accounts to try to talk to me. Like, it just drives them insane when it's like, whoa, like a girl actually realized that she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to be understanding and patient and kind to someone who doesn't do it to her. Like, what? Like, that's such a shock to a lot of men. And I broke this down in another video about misogyny, how a lot of times it's shocking because they're also around women like that. Like I said, the young old, the old, this whole fight. But a lot of younger girls are not going for what their mother or their grandma did. I told you, I've heard stories of a lady talking about how her husband cheated, and her grandma talked about what did you do? Her first thing was to question her granddaughter and what she would do to make someone step out and cheat outside of a committed marriage. Like, this is what I'm saying. Men are raised by women who react like that, especially to other women. So that's what I'm saying. When it's like a girl who's not going for that, it's like, what? Like, I'm truly learning the older I get. I love how I'm finding the balance between like boundaries and protecting myself, but also the empathetic side I have is also super real about how things are not just at surface level. People have a reason and a why always. But again, why am I considering their whys when they're not considering mine? Like, okay, I'm not trying to beat the whole thing of like, oh, when you go low, I go lower. But seriously, like, me as a woman, like, I'm tired. Y'all remember that man who said he didn't believe in empathy? Okay. Okay. If you know, you know. But like, seriously, it's like my goal is to not stop being the empathetic, loving, considerate, passionate woman I am. That's not the goal. How a lot of women go through hurt, or they go through dealing with terrible men who don't reciprocate, and they think that's the answer. Like, okay, I'm done being like that. It's not that, because life is always going to happen. Sometimes my triggers and my trauma are going to come up, and I'm not always going to react in the most calm way. My therapist told me and stuff. Like, that's not realistic. We're all going to have times, especially if I'm with someone that I'm actually going to be with, like marry and have kids with and be with for years. But the goal is to find someone who also has that side for me, and who, again, not just this is how I am and take it or leave it, works on it and actually does the work like I've did and wants to keep doing the work. Like I said, again, not unrealistically, sometimes we fall off. I kind of hate, no hate to Gen Z. I am a Gen Zer, but this is like one thing I low-key do hate about. I don't like the trope about Gen Z of like healing journey, self-love journey. You should always be upgrade. That's not realistic. Like, sometimes I could just be like, I've known so many women who are like, I don't want a relationship because I'm focusing on myself. Like, we can literally have it all. There's seasons where you can just chill. We're ever evolving, but it's not every single day, every single week, every single month. We need to like, that's just not, you know? Yeah, I just feel like I'm so done being a man's mom and therapist and trauma dump session. Like I said, for someone who doesn't even have a lick of patience for me. Like, one thing about me is like, I've had boys I've dated before call me impatient. Yes, I'm impatient, definitely in some ways. Okay, like, you can't wait to, I like to be on time to things, you know, or like to eat or something. I don't play by my food, right? There's certain stuff, but when it comes to the patience of these niggas and having been, like I said, being in an abusive relationship, I was super patient with someone who abused me and assaulted me. I've been super patient with a man who yelled and screamed in my face like a toddler. Check the last story. I've just been so patient with people who I never treated like that back. And I'm like, why? Like, literally, that's another realization I came out of my last relationship. I was like, again, why am I dating people? You know how this is like the whole, like, they're not on their level, meet your match. No, but that's real. And a lot of times I'm like, I'm not talking about like, I'm better than someone. I am better than my exes in a lot of ways, but like, or looks, it's like, no, literally in matches, like the ghetto ass shit I dealt with in my last relationship. like a crash out boy who likes to scream and yell because, oh, that's how I grew up and that's how my family talks to each other. Okay, well, I don't. I talk things out. I take space. I communicate. Like, someone who wants to scream and yell and do all that, then you should go be with a crash out girl who's going to do that. And I should be with someone who has patience and who can talk and use their words and not act like a fucking child. You get what I mean? Like, I really understand when it's like not on your level. So yeah, I hope these words are empowering to any other loving, patient beings who have soft spots for people, you know, who have been through things themselves or just want to help and obviously care for people they love, but don't be like I used to. Like, don't ride the wave. Don't, like, I've seen this meme about Scorpios before, how they're like, Scorpios will ride that ship till it sinks. And like, I feel like I definitely have done that in my past relationships. Like, I did better with this last one, but yeah, like I have a whole video too on ride or die culture for men, anyone who can, or for women, anyone who can relate, but especially the ladies, because like I said, this is like for a man to be patient and empathetic and considerate of like all things about someone's life. It's like, wow. Like, you know, for people, it's like, wow, that's a man, that's a king. He goes to therapy. But you just expect every woman to be like that. For a woman to be like that, it's like, well, yeah, that's how you guys are supposed to be. But for a man, that's super extraordinary. I seen this meme before where they said like a regular woman is like an extraordinary man. Like, oh my God, a loyal man, praise. A man who sticks around and be's a dad, praise. Why are we clapping? Stop clapping, bitch. That's like, this is the stuff you're supposed to do. But it's so like, you know? So I encourage all my other lovers to not stop and keep being yourself and all that, but just like protect your energy and where it goes for real. Because I'm learning that. Obviously, I don't know everything. I'm just a 23-year-old girl on the internet who reads books and went to therapy. But I do know a little bit. I do know a little bit from the class of life. But yeah, keep that crown on, keep that heart open. I hope I said something positive that you guys can take away from or relate to. You know, I love videos that make me feel seen and like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel or how I felt. So I hope to do that for others. Because yeah, we're all in this together. Thank you guys so much for listening to another podcast episode. As always, you know, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.